Hey Reflections! So today I'm going to be talking about the height of a DMT experience, or the core of the DMT experience, in my opinion. Now, Quantum Kitty, why would you talk about this? You haven't taken DMT in 9 months. Yes, but ever since my last experience, I felt my third eye pulse and open and grow twice the size that it was before this last experience. And after that, I had this migraine for about a week. You know, after my third eye grew, it was the most painful experience I've ever had, and I don't have migraines. I'm not the type of person to ever have had migraines. And after this experience, I don't know if I shared this with you in my other videos, but I literally felt my third eye grow more than double the size, and I had this experience with DMT, and my life has never been the same. And once I got to this height of the experience, or the core of the experience, which is your divinity, really, I knew my life couldn't be the same. I knew I had to make some decisions. I knew that I had to act consciously and live consciously, because my lifestyle was impacting the earth, you know? So I was living a very comfortable, very luxurious life, but I didn't want to question, because when you have these questions, you come to these conclusions, and they really hurt you, because you realize how much all of these needs and excesses, I mean, they don't have no consequences. You know, everything has consequences. And the way we are living today absolutely has consequences. So, what helped me along the way after I had this major experience, and how did I control my mind and take ownership of my consciousness again? How did I do that? Well, I started understanding entropy. And that's when I started observing my mind, observing the chaos within my mind, the going crazy, the being ungrounded, the feeling like I'm having a psychotic breakdown. And I looked into this, I observed this while this was happening. I saw the chaos and the disorder of my mind, and I meditated. I meditated on love, on unity consciousness, on oneness. And then I saw the order. This is the natural order of things. And we do not have to fear the unknown, because we are truly divine beings. So that is the height of the DMT experience to me, and I'm going to describe it as I felt it 9 months ago, and I felt it again driving in the car on the way to go hiking. I thought I was going to have this experience of transcendence while I was hiking. That didn't happen. It happened while I was in the car, actually, which I find really hysterical and funny, but it was quite terrifying at the same time. So, when you get into the space beyond the geometry, okay, beyond the flowers, because there's a certain space where you see the veil in DMT space. A lot of people talk about this. And you see geometry. Well, you go past that, and then you see flowers, basically earth, nature, what everything is made out of. Once you go past that, you go to your soul, the very core of you, and you could experience this in any way. And, you know, there are multiple ways of experiencing this. But for me, the experience was an initiation into my higher self, a meeting with my higher self, a melding of both masculine and feminine, the most divine parts of both dualities, the masculine, the feminine, merging into one expression of truth. And it was coming to terms with my own divinity, downloading my own divinity. That's that 0 point energy in which you feel when you're in these very dense situations. You know, you feel like you can't breathe. You feel like the air is too dense. You feel like you're in another dimension. And you feel like it's just too much information. The heart of the DMT experience to me is downloading the divinity, which is you. Yeah, it's really intense. I don't know how I can talk about this to convey how serious this is, how important you are, how divine you are, how divine I am, how divine every single person in this existence is. And that to me was the hardest thing that I had to come to terms with. You know, seeing and first seeing the expression of my soul, coming into maturity, you know, and witnessing that. And I talk about this all the time because it was just the most beautiful thing that I had experienced. And it's really interesting because before you see the scariness or the nature of reality, it's not really scary. It's truth, and it's weird, and it's scary to be ignorant, as I was. You know, I didn't know, I didn't question, I didn't really read up on anything really. I was just too busy watching TV all the time. You know, with every single psychedelic experience, my hobbies changed. So I was really into going out at night and, you know, doing my hair and taking pictures of myself and, you know, watching TV and watching movies. And then the next thing you know, 3-4 years down the line, in quiet solitude, in meditation, in a meditative state, I'm studying different types of sciences, observing myself in a very interesting way, observing these ideas, observing the chemistry within my body. Yeah, you know, observing different psychic phenomena. This is all something that we can experience once we take our attention from all of the distractions, really. Because I think that before I was very distracted. You know, when you have no purpose, when you don't have a download, it's very difficult, you know, to express yourself creatively. You know, because I went to school to be an artist, but I had no art to make because I did not find myself. So, this experience that I had, let me see how much time we have, I'm just going on and on. The experience that I had that was very profound, I was meditating on love and unity consciousness. This is what I do these days. And I was meditating very fiercely and just opening myself you know, feeling the energy of everything, feeling everything around me, you know. And a lot of this is easier when you detach, okay? I had a very big problem with ownership of things, or the things owned me, you know, and everything is gone. You know, I have my film equipment, obviously, because that is my creative tool of expression. And it allows me to inspire and to create and to have a purpose and a tool to elevate myself and others around me. So this is why I kept it. And I have all my video equipment as well too, but everything else I got rid of. Everything I got rid of. All the books, all the paintings, all the clothes, all the fancy stuff, everything. Just got rid of everything. And once I detached from those material possessions, number one, I became more psychic. Okay? That was very interesting. All I had to do was really look at what I was doing, what I was contributing to this matrix, to this system, you know? And that's why I say, when discerning relationships or anything, you have to see what people are giving and getting, and especially within yourself. You know, I try to live in service most of the time. You know what I mean? I care about myself. I love myself, obviously. You know, you have to take care of yourself first, but you also have to, you know, discern, you know, if certain situations are good for you, energy draining, this and that. But I find that the more I detach from material things, the more I transcend my immediate reality, the less, you know, of that drama that I get in my everyday life. You know, I recognize new interesting peers. You know, I find things like this. I find that once you make that shift to 5D, 4D, 5D, the people around you really change, you know, and it has for me. So again, I was going off course because I find that I have made this transition, and it was difficult because I made it difficult. You know, I could have made it easier, but, you know, I'm hard on myself. Obviously, I think I handled it like a G, you know, and that's why I'm going to tell you all of these things in the future, because, you know, this is my story. And I'm not perfect. You know, I'm not perfect at all. And I am thankful for that, because that is alchemy, turning base consciousness into gold, shit into gold. I highly suggest you watch The Holy Mountain. Someone had showed that to me before, and it has a lot of these esoteric symbolism about alchemy and duality and all of these things. And yeah, it was very interesting to watch, because that was almost a visual representation of what's going on here. But we also have to mind our programming. You know, I am very fierce when it comes to minding my programming, because I realize that the media takes a lot of these things that are happening, you know, and they put a very scary spin on it, you see? Like all of these negative or scary things around sleep deprivation. You know, I'm watching this, I'm seeing this. All of these new shows and scary sci-fi dramas about what is this? I don't even know what it's called, but Stranger Things, you know, about this girl, AI or AOI, I don't know what it's called. Anyway, all of these new Netflix dramas, you know, they're basically sharing truth, but spinning it to this very scary thing, so people don't want to take part in these things. You know, they're too scared to do sensory deprivation. They're too scared to do DMT because they watch something. You know, they're too scared to do something because they're taking truth and they're putting their own negative spin on it. They're talking to your subconscious with these symbolisms that they put within these things in media. And it's, you know, once you become aware, once you see these things, once you are an alchemist, you yourself, or spiritual alchemist, you yourself see these. And you see the distortion and perversion of truth, of the natural order, in order to create this spin on something. So we begin to fear enlightenment, or the illuminated, or the Illuminati, or anything like that. You know, we begin to fear these things, and we become obsessive about these things. You know, and we begin to ruminate on these things, and then these things become our reality. What I realized first and foremost is, you know, I am actively manifesting my life through thought, through directing myself, through experiences. And that's something that, you know, I take full ownership of. You know, I could easily say that, you know, we're victims of mind control, or I can say, hey, we're beginning to control our mind. See, there are two different types of perspectives on things, and that's entropy. That's high entropy and low entropy, and I've been studying this. For all of you guys that are fearful of these states of consciousness, of these, you know, different states of lucid dreaming, of, you know, the psychedelic experience, all of this stuff, I highly suggest you read some Tom Campbell, My Big Toe. This really does break things down in a very scientific way, where you begin to realize that there is nothing to fear. You know, there's absolutely nothing to fear, even within the psychedelic experience. Why do we have these psychedelic experiences? We have these psychedelic experiences to see our own divinity, to transcend, to have that mini ego death, and to come back resurrected, right? That's why we do this. You know, and time again, every single time, I think that I'm having this endogenous DMT release, or I'm taking DMT, or I'm taking, you know, these psychedelic substances, which I've kind of chilled out on for now. I always think that I'm going to die, right? That transcendental object at the end of time. Well, that transcendental object is there to transcend, to go and to cleanse ourselves, the death of our old existence, the death of who we were. And it's very interesting because this Santa Muerte has been coming to me very much in the past few days, just over and over and over. And this is a saint in Mexico and other parts of the country, of the world, that is being worshipped. It's a saint of death, a female saint of death, and people all around Mexico and other parts of the world are denouncing Catholicism, and they are worshiping death, a female version of death. And this is very interesting that this comes to me in this time of destruction and stuff like this, because I realize, you know, everything, every single moment in time, we are dying just a little bit. You know, that transcendental object at the end of time is our mortality. It's us dying a little bit more over and over and over and over and over again until our death, until we realize that we are timeless and that there is no death. We are eternal. And that's why we take psychedelics. You know, this was a very powerful experience for me. Let me see how much more time I have, so maybe I could tell another experience about the human psyche and the resilience of the human. You know, there are many experiences that I've had where I thought I died, where I thought I was going to die. You know, in the past 9 months, I've had countless near-death experiences, and I've transcended them. And I've been able to manipulate time and space in order to make certain experiences stop. You know, I don't know if I talk about this enough, but I've had instances where I was able to stop time, make a quick, you know, decision, and I saved my life on multiple occasions. You know, this is when time just collapses and you start seeing, you know, the truth of the nature of your power, you know, your divinity, your strength. And that's why we take psychedelics. You know, that's why I take psychedelics, at least. I don't know. Comment down below and share, you know, your experiences with expressing your divinity and downloading your divinity. I would love to hear, you know, your experiences with these. The camera completely stopped. So yeah, I would love to hear in the comment section about your divine experiences and downloading your divinity, because this was the first step for me, you know, seeing my power and finding that purpose, and then recognizing fear, and then learning about entropy. But I still haven't talked about this very psychedelic experience that I had. I don't know if I'm going to have time, but I'll try to do this as quickly as possible. So first I was talking about the transcending experience that I had when I thought I was going to die. So I had experienced a flood, all right? And I thought I was going to lose everything. You know, I thought I was going to lose my life. I lost everything. You know, every single thing that I held dear, that I felt made me, that I felt identified or made the identity of myself, was gone. I mean, I was only left with the clothing on my back, and that was it. You know, our whole entire house flooded. And I had experienced this in 2012, October of 2012. Now, at that moment in time, I thought that this was the end of my life as I knew it. It could have easily been. However, in that quick second, time stopped. And I was able to make a very quick decision and think on my feet. Now, at that time when that happened, and I'm going to talk about this in another video, I was quite terrified, and I felt very angry because I felt very unprotected, because I thought that that was my father's job to protect me and to act, you know, quick thinking, and he didn't. You know, he didn't, and I was the one who had to save the family, and that was a lot for, you know, a 20-something-year-old girl. That was something that I had. Camera keeps on just cutting off. I think that there's not enough memory, so anyway, I'm going to try to keep this short. So yes, going back to my experience with destruction and basically facing a near-death experience, I feel that that was the death of an older state of consciousness, older programming. And again, you know, this happened while I was on my way to the woods. But it felt like the whole entire world had opened up, you know, as I was meditating on love. And I was viewing the world in a very different way. My surroundings was talking to me. You know, I was observing the state of the city in which I was living. I was going from New York to New Jersey. I was on this toll bridge, and I saw all the anger and frustration of people, you know, and I was just meditating on love. And I saw all the pollution, and I saw how big of a hole we've dug ourselves, you know? And I'm thinking, how are we going to fix all of this? How are we going to fix all of this? I don't know if we can. I don't know if we can. But I do realize that that is exactly why I have left the materialism behind, really. Yeah, that was really interesting. It was scary because I realized how grave the situation was. What's the next step? Well, there's going to be a lot of chaos. A lot of chaos for it to get back to its original state. And maybe we're just here to witness this and to transcend this. Because after all, we only have a very limited amount of time here. And the time that we have here, we need to inspire change, and we need to change ourselves. So that might be dropping, all of these very self-destructive patterns of behavior, which is overspending, hoarding resources, hoarding knowledge, all of these things. We have to first fix within us, overcome the duality and the fear within us. And hopefully that will inspire and create a fractal effect of change for the rest of the sentient beings. Anyway, this video is getting quite long, and yeah, so that was my experience. It was a very scary download, when these endogenous DMT releases happen. You're feeling everything. You're feeling the earth. You're feeling animals. You're feeling all of the souls that are suffering. You're feeling this whole entire machine of bullshit. Excuse my language. And I was observing this, I was observing. I was observing the car I was in. The car was very old technology, and I'm thinking, how come we have such old technology? We're living in the 21st century. It made me sick feeling the toxic stuff that was coming off of this car that was making me ill, that was making the environment ill. It made me sick that, we had to go to war to get this oil. People had to suffer to get this oil. This whole entire monetary banking system is created on oil, and the destruction of this earth, the destruction of humanity. How can we change all of this in a very small time? I don't know. There's going to be a lot of chaos that needs to ensue to create this type of change. I recognize that. I don't know if this is coming now. I don't know if this is coming in the near future. But this is something that we all have to observe. Our own actions within this system. Within this matrix, we're going to have to see what is my contribution to this negative system, and how am I trying to change it within my own life, within my immediate surroundings. Will I be more conscious? For me now, I feel like I want to ride bicycles. I don't even want to ride in a car anymore. Forget fancy cars. This is something I don't care about. Before I buy whatever I buy, does it come from a huge corporation? Creating slave labor? I don't know. These are things that, we need to start awakening to. Because nobody else is going to do this. You know, it's witnessing that this is a train wreck. You know, but this is all because of high entropy, chaos, disorder, you know, raping the earth for its natural resources, to be greedy, to hoard, to have this first world, you know, egocentric, materialistic lifestyle in that perfect home, with that perfect job, with that perfect car. It's going to be up to us to reanalyze our worlds and to try to change all that within. I know this is a really deep one, and it's all over the place, but this is what I experienced the other day. Anyway, reflections. If you guys have similar experiences, please comment down below. If you guys have any experiences with tapping into your divinity, please let me know. Anyway, reflections, I hope you're having an awesome, awesome, awesome day. Hey reflections, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and check out my other videos.